Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one. Marcus Aurelius, have you ever felt respect slipping away? Not because of what you said, but because of what you didn't notice. Sometimes, it's not the grand mistakes that hurt us. It's the quiet habits, the small behaviors we barely think about, that quietly erode how others see us. Today on Stoic Secrets, we'll expose 7 hidden habits that destroy respect and show you how the wisdom of modern Stoicism can help you replace them with clarity, discipline, and inner strength. Let's begin with one of the most toxic and overlooked habits: gossip. Part 107: Destructive Habits That Make Others Lose Respect for You. Number 1. Gossiping. Gossip is like a slow-acting poison, deceptively sweet, but devastating over time. It often starts small, wrapped in curiosity or casual bonding, but each whispered word chips away at something deeper: trust. You might think you're just sharing a harmless story, but the moment you speak about someone who isn't present, you reveal more about yourself than you do about them. Listeners may smile, nod, even join in, but silently they wonder, if they speak like this about others, what do they say about me? Gossip wears a friendly disguise. It pretends to create connection, but it actually builds walls, invisible but very real. Real relationships don't thrive on tearing others down. They're built on loyalty, presence, and integrity, especially when no one's watching. As the Stoic philosopher Seneca once wrote, "It is a rough road that leads to the heights of greatness. Gossip, by contrast, is the smooth, slippery slope that leads nowhere meaningful." Each time you dissect someone else's mistakes, you delay your own growth. It takes no wisdom to point out someone's flaws. But does it sharpen your insight? Does it elevate your moral character? No. Gossip only exposes insecurity, a restless need to distract from our own shortcomings, and the consequences, they ripple wider than we imagine. Gossip burns bridges, not only with the subject of your words, but with every person who hears them. Over time, people grow distant, conversations become guarded, friendships hover on the surface, and you may find doors quietly closing, not because people dislike you, but because they fear becoming your next story. In today's world, where words spread faster than ever, even one careless remark can spiral out of control. A single sentence can tarnish a reputation or your own. So ask yourself, is that fleeting moment of attention really worth your integrity? The Stoics would say no, absolutely not. As Epictetus taught, we have 2 ears and 1 mouth so that we can listen twice as much as we speak. There is strength in silence, wisdom in restraint. Next time gossip drifts into the conversation, gently steer away. Say, "I'd rather not discuss." Someone who isn't here to speak for themselves. Or simply shift the topic towards something meaningful. People will notice. Respect isn't earned through clever words. It's earned through disciplined silence. The one who refuses to gossip becomes the one others seek out, not for drama, but for guidance. And that kind of reputation, it's not built on moments. It's built on character. So who do you want to be? The lighthouse people trust, or the drifting tide that carries whispers to every shore? The choice is yours, and it shapes your legacy more than you realize. After all, respect isn't earned through gossip or manipulation. It's earned through discipline and integrity. That brings us to another habit that silently destroys trust: passive-aggressive behavior. Number 2, passive-aggressive behavior. This habit doesn't explode. It corrodes. It's the cold, "I'm fine," when everything in your tone says you're not. It's the sarcastic remark instead of an honest response. The silent treatment, the heavy sighs, the eye rolls, all of it feels subtle. But together, they build walls instead of bridges. At first glance, passive aggression might seem like a clever way to avoid conflict. But in reality, it's one of the quickest ways to lose someone's respect. Why? Because it creates confusion, frustration, and emotional distance. People aren't blind. They can feel when something's off. But instead of clarity, you give them a riddle. And no one enjoys trying to decode emotional puzzles. As Epictetus once said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." Passive-aggressive reactions don't resolve problems. They just bury them until they rot. Think about how many relationships, whether romantic, professional, or personal, have suffered because of unspoken resentment. How many times have you hoped someone would just know why you were upset, and then felt even more angry when they didn't? But here's the truth. No one can read your mind. Expecting others to just get it is unfair, not only to them, but to yourself. Take John, for example. He felt unappreciated by his partner, but instead of speaking up, he sulked. He gave her the cold shoulder. He made snide comments and sighed dramatically, hoping she'd catch the hint. She didn't. Over time, the emotional distance widened. By the time he realized his passive aggression was pushing her away, it was nearly too late. Ask yourself honestly, have I damaged relationships by expecting people to read between the lines? Have I chosen silence over honesty and lost trust because of it? When you avoid open communication, you send a clear message that you can't be relied on for truth. And without honesty, there can be no real respect. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one." That means letting go of emotional games and stepping into honest, direct communication. So next time you're tempted to send a passive-aggressive message like, "Wow, must be nice to have so much free time," pause. Ask yourself, what am I actually trying to say? And why can't I just say it directly? Most passive aggression is rooted in fear. Fear of confrontation, of rejection, of being vulnerable. But avoiding conflict doesn't eliminate it. It only intensifies it. In truth, healthy conflict, handled with honesty, builds stronger relationships. It builds trust. And this applies everywhere, even at work. If a colleague isn't pulling their weight, dropping vague hints or crafting snarky emails won't solve anything. A true Stoic and a mature leader addresses the issue with calm, directness, and composure. Because no one respects someone who plays emotional guessing games. Stoic philosophy teaches us that respect is earned through clarity, courage, and action, not manipulation. So what would happen if you replaced passive aggression with honest conversation? Simple. People would respect you more. They'd trust you more. They'd see you as someone strong enough to handle difficult truths, not someone hiding behind subtle resentment. And remember what Epictetus said: it is impossible for a man to learn what he thinks he already knows. If you constantly justify your passive aggression, you block your own growth. You may think you're avoiding drama, but in truth, you're feeding it. Next time you feel the urge to act out subtly, stop, take a breath, and ask, what am I really feeling? And how can I express it honestly? Clarity heals what silence ruins. When you replace passive-aggressive behavior with honest, direct communication, something powerful happens. Not only do your relationships improve, your self-respect grows. And isn't that what we all ultimately want? To be remembered not for the subtle games we played, but for the courage, wisdom, and honesty we chose to live by. #3 Never taking responsibility habits destroy respect. Faster than the refusal to take responsibility. We've all encountered people who always seem to have an excuse when things go wrong. They blame co-workers, bad luck, the weather, or vague circumstances beyond their control. Maybe you've even caught yourself doing it too, justifying mistakes instead of owning them. But here's the hard truth. When you constantly shift the blame, you're sending a loud message. You're not in control of your own life. As Epictetus reminded us, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. Life will test you. Things will go sideways. You will fail. But how you respond, whether with ownership or excuses, defines your character. Blaming others may offer a moment of comfort, a temporary shield against guilt. But in the long run, it erodes your power. It turns you into a passive victim, rather than the active author of your story. Take Michael Jordan, one of the most celebrated athletes in history. He once said, "I've missed more than 9,000 shots. I've lost almost 300 games. 26 times I've been trusted to take the game-winning shot and missed. I have failed over and over and over again in my life, and that is why I succeed." Notice what's missing in that quote: blame. He didn't point fingers at referees, teammates, or coaches. He took full responsibility. He used failure as fuel and became a legend. So ask yourself, what could I achieve if I stopped making excuses and took full ownership of my actions? Taking responsibility isn't about being hard on yourself. It's about recognizing your power, the power to learn, to grow, to evolve. People respect those who own their mistakes. These are the individuals we trust, rely on, and look to for leadership. Why? Because we know they won't run from accountability when things go wrong. But those who avoid responsibility, over time, they're seen as unreliable. Someone who always has an excuse instead of a solution. One of the most powerful real-life examples of true ownership comes from Jocko Willink, a former U.S. Navy SEAL officer and author of Extreme Ownership. During a high-risk combat mission in Iraq, a tragic mistake occurred due to a combination of miscommunication and confusion. Friendly forces accidentally fired on each other. Chaos followed. Lives were lost. When the dust settled, an investigation began. Everyone wanted to know who was responsible As the team's commander, Jocko had a choice. He could have blamed bad intel, unclear orders, even his own teammates. But he did single quotes T. Instead. He stood up and said, "The blame is on me. I'm the leader. I should have done better. I should have made the mission clearer. I should have ensured every man knew exactly what to do." That moment of complete ownership changed everything. Instead of being punished, Jocko earned more respect, not just from his superiors, but from his entire team. Why? Because they saw a leader who would never throw them under the bus. A man who would take the fall if it meant protecting the unit. That moment would go on to shape Jocko's entire leadership philosophy, which he later formalized into a principle called extreme ownership, a mindset Jocko now teaches to CEOs, athletes, and everyday individuals alike. The lesson is clear. If you want to succeed, you must own every part of your life, your failures, your mistakes, and your outcomes. This story reveals a truth that's as simple as it is powerful. When you take full responsibility, people trust and respect you more. But when you shift the blame, you lose credibility, sometimes permanently. So ask yourself, do I want to be the kind of person who owns my life, or the kind who always has an excuse? In a world where accountability is often avoided, those who embrace it stand out. They rise, they lead, they earn trust and open doors that excuses never will. Seneca once wrote, "It is not because things are difficult that we do not dare. It is because we do not dare that things are difficult." Avoiding responsibility doesn't make life easier. It makes it harder. It keeps you small, stuck, and powerless. So next time you feel yourself reaching for an excuse, pause. Ask, what can I learn from this? How can I turn this moment into a stepping stone for growth? This is one of the Stoic lessons that separates the weak from the strong. The more you practice this mindset, the more respect you'll earn, not just from others, but from yourself. And that's where real strength begins, with self-respect. Number, for lack of basic hygiene, it might sound trivial, but hygiene, often dismissed as a surface-level concern, plays a much bigger role in how you're perceived than you might think. In fact, nothing erodes respect faster than poor personal care. Whether it's unkempt hair, wrinkled clothing, or noticeable body odor, the message it sends is subtle, yet undeniable. I don't value myself, and I'm not thinking about how I affect others. Marcus Aurelius once said, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts." And in the same way, your outer appearance is often a reflection of your inner discipline. When you neglect your hygiene, it's not just about physical cleanliness. It reveals something deeper, a possible lack of structure, focus, or self-worth. Stoic philosophy teaches us to master the little things, because discipline starts with the details, and hygiene is one of the most visible, immediate displays of that mastery. Whether we like it or not, people form opinions before we ever speak a word. Walk into a room looking disheveled, and even your most profound ideas may be dismissed. It's not about vanity, it's psychology. We naturally respect those who respect themselves. A clean, well-groomed appearance communicates confidence, competence, and awareness. It tells people you are someone worth listening to. But hygiene doesn't just affect how others see you. It affects how you feel. Neglecting it can deepen feelings of apathy, low energy, or even depression. On the other hand, the act of caring for yourself, taking a shower, putting on clean clothes, grooming your hair, can spark a shift in mindset. That small act can reignite your sense of control and self-worth. Marcus Aurelius reminds us, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. While life may feel chaotic, your appearance is something fully within your control. The effort is small. A daily shower, brushing your teeth, clean clothing, trimmed nails, fresh breath. But the impact is enormous. When you take care of yourself, others instinctively take you more seriously. You gain respect, not because you look perfect, but because you show that you care. And here's the truth. Most people will never tell you that your hygiene is affecting how they see you, but they will show it. They'll keep their distance. Conversations will feel shorter. Invitations might become less frequent. You may not even realize it's happening, but over time, this quiet social distancing can cost you deeply. Friendships, respect, even professional opportunities. And that's the truth about self-respect. It's built through small, daily actions. As Seneca once said, a gem cannot be polished without friction, nor a man perfected without trials. True self-improvement isn't always found in massive achievements or bold goals. Sometimes it's in the quiet, consistent habits, like simply taking care of your appearance. Because when you show up clean, presentable, and intentional, you send a clear message. I respect myself, and I'm worthy of your respect, too. Number 5, constant complaining. If there's one habit that quietly repels others more than almost anything else, it's constant complaining. Venting might feel good for a moment, but when negativity becomes your default, when every conversation starts with what's wrong, you're not just expressing frustration, you're broadcasting a mindset. A mindset that's focused on problems instead of solutions. People may sympathize at first, but over time, habitual complaining becomes draining, exhausting, even. Think about the co-worker who always finds something to gripe about. The boss is unfair. The workload is unbearable. The coffee's terrible. At first, you might nod along, but eventually, their negativity begins to wear you down. Why? Because a mind stuck in complaints doesn't just affect itself, it spreads discontent to everyone nearby. Negativity is contagious. The more you indulge in it, the more distorted your view of the world becomes. Every interaction, every event, every inconvenience, all filtered through a pessimistic lens. But here's the deeper damage. Complaining doesn't just alienate others. It poisons your own perspective. As Epictetus said, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. Life will always bring challenges. The Stoics never promised ease, but what they offered was something far better: the ability to choose how we respond. Our power lies not in controlling external events, but in mastering our own minds. Marcus Aurelius echoed this beautifully. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength when you complain constantly. You give that power away. You reinforce the illusion that life is something being done to you, that you are a victim, not a participant. A man who spends years resenting his job, his boss, or his salary doesn't grow. He simply suffers. At first, his friends may listen, but eventually they tune him out. Why? Because his mindset becomes the very cage he can't see. So take a moment, ask yourself honestly, have I fallen into the habit of chronic complaining? It's easy to slip into. We all feel frustration with relationships, work, traffic, even small daily annoyances. But here's what separates the respected from the resentful. Resilient people look for solutions. Complainers dwell on the problem. And here's something even more powerful. When you choose strength over bitterness, you don't just earn others' respect, you earn your own. The next time you catch yourself complaining, stop and ask, can I change this? If the answer is yes, take action. If not, embrace the Stoic way. Accept what is beyond your control and move forward with grace and calm. This simple shift in mindset won't just elevate your inner peace. It will transform how people see you. Because complaining is a trap. It solves nothing. It heals nothing. It only weakens the spirit. Instead, live by Stoic virtues, resilience, discipline, and perspective. Face life with composure. Speak with intention. Act with purpose. When you do, you'll command the kind of quiet respect that doesn't need to be asked for. It's simply given. Number 6, being chronically lateite might seem like a minor flaw. After all, what's a few minutes? But chronic lateness speaks volumes. And what it says is this: my time matters more than yours. Even if it's unintentional, that's how it's perceived over time. The habit of being late erodes trust, strains relationships, and quietly diminishes respect. Seneca warned, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a lot of it." When you're late, you're not just wasting your own time, you're wasting everyone else's. You disrupt plans, delay progress, and signal unreliability. Eventually, people adjust their expectations, and not in a good way. They stop counting on you. And once that reputation takes hold, it's difficult to reverse. Now contrast this with someone who's always punctual. Their very presence commands quiet authority. It shows discipline. It shows they value others' time. It shows they follow through. These are not just habits. They're reflections of inner structure and self-respect. Marcus Aurelius said it best: "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one." Being on time is a simple, everyday way to embody that wisdom. It's an act of integrity, and one of the clearest ways to show discipline. A foundational principle in both modern Stoicism and the Iron Mind philosophy. Ask yourself, honestly, how often have I been late because of poor planning? How much anxiety has it caused me? Because let's not forget, habitual lateness doesn't just inconvenience others. It also hurts you. It throws your day into chaos, robs you of mental clarity, and forces you to move through life in a constant state of stress and catch-up. Why live like that? There's a well-known story about a CEO who was never late. One day, during a high-stakes Executive meeting. Several team members showed up behind schedule. The CEO stood, looked at them calmly, and said, "Time is the most valuable resource we have. If you can't respect that, you can't be part of this team." Then he left the room. The message was unmistakable. The cost of their tardiness wasn't just time. It was trust, discipline, respect. Punctuality is more than a habit. It's a declaration. It tells people who you are before you say a word. If lateness is something you struggle with, reflect on the root cause. Are you overcommitting? Poor at estimating time? Avoiding responsibilities altogether? Awareness is the first step. Change begins the moment you stop making excuses. Being punctual isn't about setting your alarm earlier. It's about shifting your mindset. You may have heard the saying, "Early is on time is late." Late is unacceptable. This isn't just a catchy phrase. It's a framework for self-respect. When you stop treating time as an afterthought and start treating it as a responsibility, everything changes. Punctuality becomes a form of discipline, a symbol of control, a marker of character. The world respects those who respect time. So ask yourself, are you someone others can rely on, or someone they make excuses for? The choice is always yours. And if you believe you're worthy of respect, your actions must reflect that belief. And few actions command respect more effortlessly than showing up on time. Number 7. Making excuse when faced with a challenge, a failure, or even a small mistake. Making an excuse may feel like the easiest way out. It spares you from discomfort in the moment, from embarrassment, criticism, or accountability. But this temporary relief comes at a long-term cost. Constant excuse-making is a subtle form of self-sabotage. It tells the world, and more dangerously, it tells you that you're not strong enough to face your actions head-on. Rather than learning, adapting, or improving, you retreat behind justifications. You blame your schedule, the weather, someone else, circumstances beyond your control. But in doing so, you give up your power. Excuses might soften the blow today, but over time, they weaken your credibility, and they quietly signal to others that you may lack the maturity or courage to grow. The impact of making excuses goes deeper than most realize. Over time, people begin to lose faith in your ability to follow through. Your credibility weakens, and slowly, you're seen not as dependable, but as someone who avoids responsibility when things get tough. Excuses not only damage your relationships, they also stunt your growth. Seneca, the great Stoic philosopher, reminded us, "A gem cannot be polished without friction, nor a man perfected without trials." Stoic wisdom is clear. Avoiding hardship doesn't protect you. It delays your potential. Challenges aren't things to fear. They are the very pressure that sharpens your integrity, builds your resilience, and strengthens your character. So how did you break free from the excuse cycle? It begins with a mindset shift. Stop deflecting. Start owning when you make a mistake. Admit it, learn from it, and improve. This simple, yet powerful, approach will not only lead to personal growth, but it will also earn you something even more valuable: respect. People trust those who take responsibility. They're drawn to individuals who face life directly, who don't hide behind blame or excuses. So ask yourself, what would change in your life if you saw mistakes as lessons instead of failures? If you treated each setback as a stepping stone, instead of a stop sign, every time you choose ownership over excuses, you carve a path toward greater trust, maturity, and strength. And the more you practice this, the more natural it becomes, until it becomes who you are. Whether it's showing up on time, taking full responsibility, or refusing to gossip, each habit is a piece of the person you're becoming. Because at the end of the day, respect isn't demanded, it's earned in the small, consistent choices you make. So ask yourself, which habit will you tackle first? Part 209 Habits that build respect in life. If you want respect, real, lasting respect, you need to build it. Respect doesn't come from titles, wealth, or loud declarations. It comes from how you live, the values you hold, and the habits you practice every single day. In this section, we'll explore 9 key habits that not only help you earn respect from others, but also build a stronger sense of self-respect within. Number 1. Practicing self-control. One of the most powerful habits you can develop is self-control. It's the foundation of personal strength, and one of the clearest signs of wisdom and discipline. In a world that rewards instant gratification, emotional outbursts, and impulsive behavior, self-control sets you apart. It's a quiet form of power, and one the Stoics valued above almost all else. Marcus Aurelius, one of the most revered Stoic thinkers, once said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Realize this, and you will find strength. In today's world, your self-control is constantly tested. From the urge to scroll endlessly on social media, to the temptation of unhealthy food, to reacting impulsively during conflict or stress, we're surrounded by forces that challenge our discipline. But here's the truth. The quality of your life and your ability to earn respect often comes down to how well you manage your impulses, whether in personal relationships, your career, or simply how you treat yourself. Self-control communicates something crucial: that you are guided by reason, not emotion, by values, not urges, and that kind of self-discipline, it builds a reputation you can be proud of. In a world obsessed with speed and immediate results, the ability to pause, to reflect, and to choose a thoughtful response over a knee-jerk reaction is more than rare. It's remarkable. This kind of self-restraint doesn't just help you resist short-term temptations. It sends a powerful message. I am in control of myself, not the world around me. Think about the impact of a leader who stays calm in the midst of crisis, or a friend who chooses to truly listen during a disagreement instead of interrupting or lashing out. What do those people inspire in you? Trust, respect, a sense of emotional safety. That's because emotional intelligence, the ability to regulate your emotions and act with intention, is one of the highest forms of maturity. And it's built, not born. Self-control isn't only about avoiding the bad. It's about choosing the best version of yourself, even when it's difficult. It might mean choosing kindness over anger during an argument. It might mean sticking to your long-term goal, even when distraction calls your name. It might mean showing grace when someone else makes a mistake, rather than responding with judgment. Every decision is a chance to practice discipline, and every moment of discipline strengthens your ability to stay calm, steady, and aligned. Even under pressure, this practice doesn't just impact you, it shapes how you treat others. When you show restraint, especially in difficult situations, you send a message that people's emotions matter. You show them that maintaining harmony is more important than being right. That respectful communication matters more than winning the argument. And in every relationship, whether with a partner, friend, parent, or colleague, that kind of control builds trust. It lays the foundation for mutual respect. But it doesn't stop there. Self-control isn't just about avoiding harmful behaviors. It also empowers positive action, persistence, resilience, consistency. Just like the Stoics who held firm in the face of adversity, practicing daily discipline allows you to stay focused on what really matters. It means saying no to quick pleasures, so you can say yes to lasting achievement. It means refusing to let social media, gossip, or bad habits derail your attention. It means doing what's hard now, so you can enjoy what's meaningful later. Marcus Aurelius reminded us, waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one. And self-control is one of the clearest paths to becoming that kind of person. Someone who embodies the values we admire in others. Because, in truth, practicing self-control isn't about denying yourself joy. It's about recognizing when that joy is real, and when it's just distraction dressed up as desire. True fulfillment doesn't come from chasing every impulse. It comes from showing up consistently for what you know matters most. The Stoics taught us to live in alignment with nature, reason, and wisdom. And that path requires something most people avoid: self-mastery. In a world full of noise, temptation, and endless distraction, discipline becomes a superpower. The more you practice it, at work, in relationships, or even in how you talk to yourself, the more grounded you become, the more respected you become. Because self-control says something powerful without ever needing to speak. I can be trusted, even by myself. Those who practice true self-control command respect, not because they deny themselves joy, but because they live with purpose, clarity, and integrity. By cultivating this timeless virtue, you won't just gain the admiration of others. You'll develop a deeper sense of self-respect, and that self-respect will serve as your compass through life's ups and downs, guiding your responses, your choices, and your character. 2. Active listening in a world that moves fast and talks loud. Something precious is being lost. The art of truly listening. Distractions are everywhere. Notifications buzz, thoughts race. Conversations become rushed, transactional, or one-sided. But the Stoics, centuries ago, understood the power of intentional, focused listening. To them, listening was not a passive act. It was an engaged presence, a practice of connection and curiosity. For the Stoics, listening was a doorway to wisdom. When you listen actively, you do more than hear words. You signal something deeper. I respect you. I value what you have to say. Epictetus taught, always be asking, what is the nature of this thing? In conversation, this means asking yourself, what's the true meaning behind these words? What is this person really trying to express? Active listening invites empathy, and empathy is the foundation of trust and respect. It's how we form deeper, more honest relationships. But active listening isn't just for others. It's also a path to personal growth. When you truly listen, you open yourself to new insights, new wisdom, new perspectives. Marcus Aurelius reminds us, life offers countless lessons if we choose to listen. So ask yourself the next time you're in a conversation, am I truly listening? Or am I just waiting for my turn to speak? That one question can transform your interactions and your life. Take a modern example. A leader in the workplace, a manager or CEO who listens actively to their team, who seeks to understand diverse viewpoints, instead of rushing to make decisions, will not only foster trust and collaboration, but also build loyalty and lasting respect. Why? Because people feel heard, valued, seen. That kind of leadership builds stronger, more cohesive teams. It leads to smarter decisions because they're informed by collective wisdom, not just one voice. Active listening isn't just about delivering your message. It's about receiving others' truths, even the ones you didn't expect. And that's where the Stoics guide us again. Empathy, patience, and understanding aren't optional. They're essential virtues for a meaningful life. Marcus Aurelius wrote, the happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts. And I would add, the quality of your thoughts is shaped by the quality of your conversations. When you listen with presence, truly, attentively, you show that you value not just the person, but their ideas, experiences, and their perspective of the world. This isn't just politeness. It's Stoic wisdom in action. It's the recognition that everyone you meet knows something you don't. Active listening is also an exercise in self-control. It's easy to interrupt, to jump in with your own point, to steer the topic back to yourself. But the discipline lies in holding back, staying present, and letting the other person speak fully, before responding with clarity and care. In that stillness, in that space between hearing and responding, that's where wisdom grows. Sometimes, the most powerful thing you can do in a conversation is pause, reflect, and then respond with intention rather than reacting on impulse. So the next time you're engaged in a discussion, ask yourself, am I truly listening? Or am I simply waiting for my turn to speak? Am I understanding the heart of the message, or just hearing the surface-level words? These aren't just rhetorical questions. They're invitations to go deeper, to reflect on how we connect, and how we can grow through every exchange. The Stoics believed that every moment, every interaction, carries within it the potential for wisdom. And few habits unlock that potential like the practice of active listening. It doesn't just improve your relationships, it transforms your life. It allows you to see the world through someone else's eyes, to develop empathy, and to cultivate a kind of respectful awareness that deepens every connection you have. In this way, active listening is truly a Stoic secret, a deceptively simple practice that leads to powerful results. It deepens conversations, enriches understanding, and roots your life in the values of respect, empathy, and wisdom. When you embrace this practice, you begin to live more consciously, more in tune with those around you. And in doing so, you become a person others feel safe with, inspired by, and deeply respected. 3. Showing gratitude in a world where entitlement often overshadows appreciation. Gratitude becomes a rare and powerful virtue, one that builds not only stronger relationships, but also stronger character. Gratitude is a cornerstone of earning respect in your friendships, in your workplace, and even within your own self. It doesn't require grand gestures. In fact, it thrives in the small moments, the genuine thank you, the thoughtful acknowledgement, the quiet appreciation of someone's time or effort. When you take time to recognize the kindness and contributions of others, you communicate something profound: humility, emotional awareness, and maturity. This act doesn't just benefit the person receiving your thanks. It also shapes you. It fosters a mindset of abundance over scarcity, peace over resentment. Marcus Aurelius once said, "When you rise in the morning, think of what a privilege it is to be alive, to think, to enjoy, to love." In that single sentence, he captures the heart of Stoic gratitude, the ability to recognize life's beauty in both big and small things. Gratitude doesn't mean ignoring challenges. It means choosing to see what's still good, even when times are hard. And when you adopt this lens, others feel it. People are naturally drawn to those who appreciate life, who acknowledge effort, who see the value in small gestures. Whether it's thanking a colleague for helping you, or telling a loved one how much their care means, these acts build trust, warmth, and mutual respect. In today's fast-paced, hyper-distracted world, gratitude sets you apart. It reminds others and yourself that you see them, that you value what's shared between you. And the best part, gratitude is contagious. When you model it, you inspire it in others. You create a ripple of positivity that makes your relationships stronger, your environment more uplifting, and your own mindset more peaceful. So the next time someone goes out of their way for you, stop, look them in the eye, say thank you, not out of habit, but from the heart. Because that small, sincere act, it's not just about manners, it's a testament to your strength, your awareness, and your respect for the bond you share. For consistency in your actions, few things build trust and respect faster than consistency. Think about it. When you meet someone who follows through on their promises, who lives in alignment with their words, you naturally respect them, don't you? Why? Because you can count on them. They've shown you that their integrity isn't just talk, it's action. And that kind of reliability is a rare and powerful quality in today's fast-moving, ever-changing world. Consistency reflects character, and character builds credibility. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "The best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injury." This isn't just about rising above the people who hurt you. It's about staying true to your values, regardless of how others behave. In other words, let nothing shake your principles. When your actions match your words, again and again, People begin to see you as someone they can trust, someone whose word means something. And that's how respect is built, not in one moment, but over time, through repeated alignment between what you say and what you do. Of course, staying consistent isn't always easy. Modern life is full of distractions, pressure, and unexpected changes. You may feel pulled in different directions. You may be tempted to abandon your standards to fit in or keep up. But this is where your true strength is tested. Can you hold onto your values even when the situation tempts you to let go? Can you show up with integrity when no one's watching? Can you be the same person even when circumstances shift? Let me share a story that illustrates this well. Think of a leader you admire, someone in business, politics, the arts, someone whose influence has lasted. Chances are, their success wasn't just due to talent or innovation. It was their consistency. I remember a well-known entrepreneur who built a multi-million-dollar company. Yes, they had brilliant ideas, but what truly set them apart was how consistently they showed up for their team, their customers, and their mission. Every email they sent reflected the same values. Every product launch carried the same attention to quality. Every interaction with employees, respectful, grounded, intentional. People trusted them because they were predictable in the best way. They built a reputation not just for creativity, but for reliability. And that turned into long-term respect. So now ask yourself, are you consistent in your actions? Do your words match your deeds? If the answer is no, that's okay, but it's worth reflecting on. What small changes could you make today to bring your actions closer to your values? Consistency doesn't mean perfection. It means showing up again and again, in alignment, even when it's hard, even when it's inconvenient. In a noisy world full of shifting opinions and fleeting trends, consistency becomes a quiet form of power. It's easy to chase the latest fad. It's easy to shift your views based on popular opinion. It's easy to break promises when things get tough. But those who earn deep, lasting respect are the ones who remain grounded, principled, and steady, even under pressure. This is one of the great Stoic secrets, and it has the power to transform how people perceive you and how you perceive yourself. So how can you start practicing this? Begin by defining your values. Make commitments, even small ones, and honor them. Follow through on your promises. Show up with integrity, especially when no one's watching. You don't have to be perfect. You just have to be real and reliable. Because respect isn't earned through grand speeches. It's built, brick by brick, through consistent action. By practicing consistency, you're doing more than just completing tasks. You're building trust. You're showing the world that your word means something, that your values aren't situational, and that people can rely on you, even when everything else feels uncertain. In a world full of unpredictability, being dependable is a superpower. It doesn't just earn you respect, it makes you someone others turn to when they need clarity, support, or leadership. You become the calm in the storm, the steady voice in chaos. I'd love to invite you to reflect for a moment. What motto represents consistency to you? Maybe it's steady wins the race, or keep showing up. Or maybe you live by something like discipline over drama. Feel free to share your favorite quote or your personal strategy for staying consistent in the comments. Because sharing our principles helps build community. And in the end, consistency isn't just a personal habit, it's a contagious one. Number 5. Taking care of your health. One of the most direct and often overlooked ways to earn respect is by taking care of your health. Not just from others, but from yourself. In a world flooded with distractions, stress, and quick-fix temptations, it's easy to push your physical well-being to the background. But the truth is, your health is one of the clearest reflections of how much you value yourself. It's not about having the perfect body or following some extreme fitness trend. It's about discipline, self-respect, and sustainability. When you choose to care for your body, to nourish it, to rest it, to strengthen it, you're sending a powerful message. I matter. My life matters, and I intend to live it with purpose. Marcus Aurelius, ever the practical philosopher, once said, "Take care to be a good man, and do not neglect your own health." He understood something we sometimes forget. A healthy body supports a clear mind. A clear mind supports a strong spirit. You can't lead effectively, work purposefully, or love deeply if you're constantly running on empty. Without your health, everything else slowly falls apart. Motivation, confidence, focus, even your sense of self-worth. But when you prioritize your health, something powerful happens. You begin to operate with more energy, resilience, and clarity. You begin to model a standard of living that others notice and want to follow. Think about it when you see someone who makes time to eat well, exercise, and rest. Doesn't it inspire you? Maybe it's subtle, but we admire people who take care of themselves. They seem more balanced, more confident, more capable of handling life's curveballs. And here's the beautiful part. Taking care of yourself also uplifts others. Your example gives them permission to do the same. It sets a tone in your family, your team, your circle of friends. Your quiet discipline becomes their motivation. So why do so many people struggle with this? Maybe it's stress, or feeling like there's never enough time, or the belief that health has to be all or nothing. But here's the truth. Taking care of your body doesn't require perfection. It requires consistency. You don't need a flawless routine. You need intentional daily choices. That might mean going for a short walk after dinner, eating one more serving of vegetables, getting to bed 30 minutes earlier, or simply pausing during a busy day to breathe and stretch. These small decisions, repeated over time, create powerful momentum. Let's take a moment to reflect on someone in your life who prioritizes health. Maybe it's a colleague who jogs in the mornings, a friend who preps healthy meals, or a mentor who balances work and rest with grace. Chances are, they handle stress with more ease. They approach challenges with more stability. That's not just coincidence. It's the byproduct of physical care fueling mental resilience. And that resilience, it earns respect quietly, consistently, and unmistakably. Living with strength through health, handling the ups and downs of life with grace isn't just a mindset, it's a lifestyle. And one of the most powerful foundations for that lifestyle Is taking care of your health. Caring for your body is not a selfish act. It's one of the most selfless things you can do because it's an investment, not just in your present, but in your future. When you nourish and strengthen your body, you're giving yourself the physical energy and emotional bandwidth to live with purpose, discipline, and integrity. In Stoic philosophy, there's a powerful concept called the iron mind. It teaches us that resilience doesn't happen by accident. It's forged. Just as the body must be strong to support the mind, the mind must be trained to face life's inevitable difficulties. And that mental strength is harder to achieve if the body is neglected. Think about it. When you're tired, sluggish, or constantly battling low energy, how did you handle stress? How patient are you with others? How capable do you feel when problems arise? On the other hand, when you've slept well, eaten nourishing food, and moved your body, don't you feel more alert, more present, more in control? Your physical habits are directly tied to your mental clarity. This is why Stoics emphasize tending to the body, not out of vanity, but because discipline in the body supports discipline in the mind. So let's pause and ask some honest questions. Are you caring for your health daily, or letting harmful habits quietly take over? How does your physical condition impact the energy you bring into your work, your family, or your goals? Are you fueling your mind with the strength it needs by nurturing your body? These are not small questions. They go to the heart of how you live. The more you prioritize your health, the more it will reflect back into your life. In your confidence, your relationships, your clarity, and your emotional resilience. Ultimately, taking care of your body is a way to honor your entire existence. It's not just about feeling better now. It's about building a future you can grow into with vitality, freedom, and pride. Because health isn't a what-I'm achievement. It's a lifelong respect for the vessel that carries your spirit. And as you walk that path, you lead by example. You become the person others look to, not just for advice, but for inspiration. Every small step, every better meal, every extra hour of rest, every walk around the block is a silent statement of self-respect. You're not just surviving. You're creating a foundation for a meaningful life. #6 Cultivating wisdom in our search for respect. Whether at home, at work, or in society, there's one quality that consistently earns it without ever demanding it: wisdom. Unlike quick charm or loud opinions, wisdom doesn't shout. It doesn't need to. Wisdom is earned through time, reflection, and the willingness to learn, especially from failure. And though it requires patience, it offers something powerful in return: a calm, steady influence that people trust. The Stoics knew this. They believed that wisdom wasn't just a virtue. It was the foundation of a good life. Marcus Aurelius, the philosopher-emperor, often wrote about using reason as your guide. One of his most enduring truths reads, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts." And this applies perfectly to the pursuit of wisdom, because wisdom begins with thinking well. It means pausing to reflect on our experiences, not just to relive them, but to learn from them. It means looking at our mistakes, our successes, our interactions, and asking, what can I take from this? Through this process, we start to see patterns, We understand people better. We make decisions with more clarity, more empathy, and more long-term vision. Think for a moment. Who are the people you respect the most? Chances are they're not the loudest in the room. They're the ones who listen, who reflect, and who offer thoughtful, measured advice. They don't react, they respond. They don't dominate, they guide. That's the power of wisdom. It's not about having all the answers. It's about having the depth to consider the right questions. People naturally gravitate toward the wise because wisdom offers calm in chaos, clarity in confusion, and maturity in moments of doubt. And wisdom isn't exclusive to philosophers or scholars. You cultivate it every time you choose to reflect instead of react, to understand instead of judge, to learn instead of assume. In this way, wisdom becomes your quiet superpower, the trait that earns not only the respect of others, but the deep satisfaction of knowing you are living with purpose, insight, and grace. Wisdom in action, a path to deeper respect. This is where Stoic philosophy reveals its quiet, transformative power, not in loud declarations, but in how it teaches us to look inward, to pause, to examine our thoughts, to reflect deeply on every experience, the good, the bad, the misunderstood, and ask, what can I learn from this? Through this daily habit of introspection, we begin to cultivate wisdom, not just for our own benefit, but for the benefit of everyone around us. Because wisdom, unlike quick opinions or shallow advice, carries weight. It's not reactive. It's not performative. It's real. And when you become someone who speaks with real insight, people notice, they listen, they begin to respect you. Not because you're louder or more impressive, but because you've earned it with thoughtfulness and clarity. Let's bring that down to a modern example. Picture a leader in a company, someone with power, influence, deadlines. They could easily bark orders, make snap decisions, or ignore feedback. But instead, this leader listens. They take time to reflect, to evaluate all sides before responding. They don't react, they respond. And what happens? Their team feels heard, valued, trusted. And in turn, that leader earns deep respect, not from fear or hierarchy, but from the strength of their wisdom. That's the quiet power of cultivating wisdom. And here's the truth. Wisdom doesn't mean perfection. You don't have to have all the answers. You just need to be someone willing to seek them, to learn from your failures, to grow through adversity, to pause and reflect before acting. Wisdom isn't about knowing everything. It's about knowing what matters. It's about seeing the bigger picture, even when the moment feels small. The Stoics teach us that every experience carries a lesson, a mistake. There's insight in it, a triumph. There's something to understand beneath the surface, a challenge. There's growth waiting if you're paying attention. So how do you begin cultivating wisdom? Start small. Set aside a few quiet moments each day. Ask yourself, what did I learn today? What could I have done better? What truth about life became clearer today? That daily reflection becomes a habit, and over time, it becomes your character. As you deepen this practice, not only will your own life feel more meaningful, others will start turning to you for guidance. Not because you pretend to know everything, but because you actually think deeply before you speak. And in today's world, that's rare and deeply respected. 7 Lifting others. The power of encouragement, one of the most overlooked, yet most powerful ways to build respect in your relationships is simple. Encourage others. Yes, something as small as celebrating someone's progress or offering sincere support can transform your connection with them. Encouragement builds mutual trust. It creates a safe space. And most importantly, it shows that you're not just focused on yourself. You're invested in someone else's growth. 2. When you support someone through their struggles or cheer them on through their successes, you elevate both of you. And that kind of energy, it echoes. Marcus Aurelius, the great Stoic emperor, once wrote, "What we do now echoes in eternity." Encouragement is exactly that kind of echo. It plants seeds of confidence, hope, resilience, and those seeds grow in ways you may never see, but that always leave a mark. Think about the mentors, teachers, or friends who encouraged you when you doubted yourself. Their words may have seemed small at the time, but didn't they stick with you? Now ask yourself, how often do you offer that same encouragement to others? In the workplace, do you recognize your colleagues' efforts? In your family, do you speak up when someone's trying hard, even if they fall short? In your friendships, do you celebrate progress, not just perfection, when you encourage others? You're not just being kind, you're showing strength, because lifting others up doesn't weaken your light. It multiplies it. It shows emotional maturity. It shows you're not threatened by others' success. It shows you have enough confidence in yourself to support the success of those around you. And people deeply respect that. So the next time you see someone trying, learning, or stepping into something new, say something. Offer your encouragement sincerely, not because you have to, but because you believe in helping others rise. In doing so, you don't just earn their respect. You embody the kind of person they want to be around. The strength in uplifting others when you take the time to encourage someone, to recognize their effort and celebrate their growth. You're sending a powerful message that you're not just focused on your own success. You care about theirs too. And in today's competitive, fast-paced world, that kind of generosity stands out. It's easy to stay locked in your lane, chasing your own goals. But true respect, that's earned when you help others rise with you. When you actively support someone's journey, whether it's cheering on a colleague's promotion, acknowledging a friend's discipline at the gym, or simply telling a loved one you're proud of them, you show belief in their potential. And that belief, it has a ripple effect. It's not just about kindness for kindness's sake. It's about creating an environment where collaboration outshines competition, where success isn't a solo climb, but a shared ascent. Think about a time when someone encouraged you. What did it feel like? Maybe it gave you courage when you were doubting yourself. Maybe it reignited your energy when you felt stuck. That same feeling, that spark, is what you offer every time you uplift someone else. By choosing to celebrate someone's wins instead of comparing or competing, you build something far more valuable than applause. You build trust, respect, real connection. Stoic wisdom encourages us to see ourselves as part of a larger whole, to not just focus inward, but to be a source of strength for those around us. Because when you help others grow, you grow to #. The power of adaptability change is inevitable. It's not a question of if life will throw you curveballs, but when . And that's why adaptability is one of the most vital qualities you can cultivate. Being adaptable doesn't mean compromising your values or abandoning your boundaries. It means showing that you're capable of shifting your strategy, adjusting your expectations, and staying grounded even when the ground beneath you shifts. It means choosing resilience over rigidity. Marcus Aurelius put it perfectly. The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. This isn't just poetic. It's practical. When something blocks your path, you have two choices. You can see it as a wall or as a doorway. The Stoic mindset chooses the latter, not because it's easy, but because it's empowering. In today's world, where change comes fast, in technology, work, relationships, even in our own priorities, being adaptable isn't optional. It's essential. Consider the workplace. Someone who can adjust their communication style to different personalities, embrace new tools without fear, and navigate shifting team dynamics becomes indispensable. Their flexibility doesn't weaken them, it makes them a leader. In relationships, the same truth applies. Adaptability means recognizing that the people you love are also evolving. It means being willing to shift your expectations, show empathy, and meet others where they are. Think back to a moment in your life when things didn't go as planned. Maybe a project collapsed. Maybe a relationship changed direction. Maybe your vision for the future suddenly felt out of reach. Did you resist the change? Or did you breathe, pause, and adjust your sails? That ability to face disruption without losing yourself, that's real power. It shows emotional intelligence, maturity, and strength. Adaptability isn't just about reacting to life. It's about anticipating it. It's staying open-minded, learning continuously, and being willing to evolve without abandoning your core. The people you likely admire most, mentors, colleagues, leaders, friends, probably all share this trait. They remain calm in chaos. They don't fear the unknown. They face it with grace. When you are adaptable, you show the world that you're not controlled by circumstances. You're someone who can flow without folding, bend without breaking. And that quiet strength, that ability to embrace the unexpected while holding true to your values, that earns deep, lasting respect. Adaptability, the Stoic secret to thriving in change. Roll with the punches, without losing your values. That's not weakness, that's strength. And in today's fast-paced, ever-shifting world, adaptability isn't just a skill, it's survival. But more than that, it's how we thrive. History doesn't remember the ones who clung rigidly to their plans. It remembers the ones who had the courage to pivot, to evolve, to face unexpected storms, and say, let's find a new way forward. If you study the most successful people, whether leaders, visionaries, creators, they all share one trait. They adapt. So ask yourself, are you flexible in thought when confronted with new information? Do you hold your ground with grace or resist change out of fear? Being adaptable doesn't mean sacrificing your core values. It means having an open mind, a willingness to grow, and the resilience to evolve without breaking. And when you can do that, you earn not just respect from others, you earn peace within yourself. Adaptability is a way of life, a daily decision to meet the moment with integrity and strength. #9 Helping without expecting. The highest form of respect of all the habits that command deep, lasting respect. This one might be the most powerful, helping others without expecting anything in return. It's easy to help when there's a reward waiting, recognition, gratitude, favors. But when you give simply because it's the right thing to do, that's when your character shines. That's when people begin to trust that your kindness is real. Marcus Aurelius once said, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one." And being good, truly good, means lifting others without needing applause. Imagine someone who mentors quietly, donates anonymously, shows up without broadcasting it to the world. That kind of selflessness doesn't just change lives. It builds a legacy. It leaves behind a reputation of integrity, not performance. So, when was the last time you helped someone just because you could? No strings, no expectations, just pure human compassion. When you give with no agenda, you send a powerful message. This isn't about me. It's about what we can build together. And in that moment, respect takes root, not from fear, not from power, but from genuine connection. A final reflection: respect isn't demanded. It's earned slowly, intentionally, through the habits we build each day. Whether it's self-control, consistency, adaptability, or selfless giving, every small choice matters. So, which habit will you start with? Which area of your life needs a little more discipline and a little less ego? Let us know in the comments. What's your first step towards self-mastery? And if this journey into Stoic wisdom has inspired you, there's more. Subscribe to Stoic Capsule for weekly insights on how to apply ancient truths to modern life. Like this video if it brought you value. Share it with someone who's on a similar path of growth. Thank you for being part of this journey. And remember, you don't need to chase respect. You just need to live it. See you in the next video.